What is up, guys? I'm back here again with another one. Today, I'll be explaining how to get key sniper entries using engulfing candles. So first things first, what is an engulfing candle? So an engulfing candle is one whose body completely engulfs the predecessor's candle, or should I say the most recent previous candle. So for instance, we have this red candle over here, and then straight after that one, we have this huge candle over here. All right, this green candle, you can clearly see that this candle's body completely engulfs the most recent candle. So this then becomes the engulfing candle that we're discussing. So practically speaking, we can use these engulfing candles as nice areas for us to enter when it comes to our trading. First things first, remember, in an uptrend, right, we aim to enter at the most recent low, okay? And in a downtrend, we aim to enter at the most recent high. So now for this entry strategy, if you locate a high in a downtrend and there's an engulfing candle, there's a nice opportunity for you to get a sniper entry. And if you're in an uptrend and you locate a nice engulfing candle at the low, there's also a nice opportunity for you to make a sniper entry. So before we get into the technical stuff, I can clearly see an engulfing candle right here. First things first, if I'm to just draw up what we have over here, I can clearly see that this is a high over here and we have a higher high. And that obviously shows an uptrending market structure. Each time you have a high and a higher high and you have a low, you can expect a higher low. But what's nice about this low over here is that there's an engulfing candle, okay? So this green candle here completely engulfed the most recent red candle in terms of body size. So that makes it an engulfing candle, okay? So now for us to get a nice and clear entry, or should I say a sniper entry, the strategy goes like this. You want to scale down to the lower time frames within this engulfing candle, and you're going to look for a region that price broke out of. So for instance, you need to find a resistance that price broke out of in here, and you wait for price to come back in there, and then you're going to place your entries. So we are on the H4 time frame right now, and if we go to the H1 while we're in this engulfing candle, we want to really see if there's an area that price broke out of. On the H1, we can't really see that area, so we need to scale down another time frame. And then now that we're on the M30 time frame, we can clearly see that this was a level that we can refer to as a resistance. Why am I saying that? Firstly, we are within that huge engulfing candle that we pinpointed, and this definitely acted as a resistance in the sense that we tried to get out of that huge ceiling. We failed. Over here was another attempt. We failed. And then we finally broke out like that, right? So now the theory behind this is that for this breakout to occur, there need be an excess of demand being generated in this black zone that we have pinpointed over here. And if we were to stretch this into the future, that should be our area where we could typically want to look for sniper entries in that engulfing candle. So now that I'm stretching this to the future, you can clearly see what has happened, okay? Price revisited our key point of interest, which was the engulfing candle. But within that engulfing candle, we pinpointed this area where price broke out of. And when price returned there, it actually gave us an area that we can strike from. So one can choose to either put their stop loss outside the big zone if you want to be careful, or you can place your stop loss just outside of the area that price broke out of in the past, okay? And as you can clearly see in this example, price went away from there, and this definitely makes this a sniper entry, because if you had used this zone, then there was practically no drawdown. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and watch this illustration from a mentorship session with one of my students where I explain how to utilize the engulfing candle strategy for sniper and precise entries. Just remember, for this entry style to work, you need to incorporate market structure from the higher time frames, and you find an engulfing candle at a low in an uptrend or at a high in a downtrend. Thank you. The second entry style that I'll be discussing today is an engulfing candle entry technique. So remember, on the H1 and above, where we get our key points of interest, we are interested in a downtrend at the most recent highs, like that, right? That's where we're interested, in a downtrend, okay? And then in an uptrend, we're interested at the most recent lows, right? Okay, so now,
in any of these events, if you see an engulfing candle at a high in a downtrend or an engulfing candle at a low in an uptrend, you should get excited because it's your opportunity for a sniper entry. Are we together? So now, how this goes is that for this one, I would simply need to find an actual live example. So, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
I just want to make sure because of network, I don't want to end up talking alone. Talking
It's
to
fine.
Okay, so look at it this way. For instance, let's just quickly use this uptrending market structure in this region, for example. So this was a high, right? And then we have a higher high. So our key point of interest would obviously be at these lows here, right? Are we
Yes.
together? You see what's nice about this low is that there's an engulfing candle there. You see this, right?
Yes. So is an engulfing candle just bigger than the previous one?
Yes, its body completely engulfs the previous one,
Okay.
right? So that's an engulfing candle. Now, with this strategy, when you see an engulfing candle at a low or a high, depending on the type of market structure you're dealing with, what you then want to do is go down to the lower time frames and see an area that price broke out of within that engulfing candle. That becomes your area where you want to strike for a sniper entry, still maintaining that your stop loss remains outside of the zone. So you see on the H4 here, right? You can clearly see that within that engulfing candle, we had an area. Price went up, failed to break, and went down. Then really finally broke out of there. Do you understand? So what that means is at that area, there was a lot of buying momentum that came in. And for sure, if we drag this to the future, can you see what happened when price got back there?
Yes.
Can you
Started
see
buying
that?
again.
Exactly at that area that price broke out of. That is the power of the engulfing candle. To say that if you see it at any of these key points of interest, you really just want to take note so that you want to find an area that price broke out of. Let me just try see if I can find another example quickly. Okay, here's another one here. Okay, so we're on the H4 time frame, so we're allowed to look for market structure. Remember these things. Okay, over here, right? We can clearly see that in terms, this is a high right here, right? And then we have a higher high right there. Can you see that? So
Yes.
essentially, our key point of interest would be at this low here. Now, at this low, you can see that this candle engulfed the most recent one. So now I would want to see, I'm very curious to see if there's an area that price broke out of within this candle that I can take advantage of. And quite frankly, here, this is one area that I could say to myself, you see, price tried to go up, it failed, and then it finally broke out. So for that to happen, a lot of buying momentum would need to come in. So now if I'm to stretch this into the future, you can clearly see that price reacted exactly from there. Can you see this is not a joke? Can you see
Yes.
how crazy? So I want you to use these engulfing candle techniques. And I don't know, I know that you're recording that side. If you could do me a favor after this session, please mail me just this segment, or you can just mail me this video. I'd want to share this on the analysis app, just these examples, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you can see price tried to break out, it failed, and then it finally broke out like that with so much enthusiasm. So now, because that is the area in which the demand came through, we should definitely be assuming that when price comes back in that area, that demand will still be existing. Okay. Are we together? So that is exactly how you use an engulfing candle entry technique. There's nothing more to it. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard. You just need to practice and say to yourself, at a low, I'm seeing an engulfing candle, or at a high, I'm seeing an engulfing candle. I'm going to take advantage. Okay. So another example is right here. We can clearly see that on the weekly time frame. It's rare that we get our key points of interest on the weekly, but just for example's sake, you can see that this is a downtrending market, this whole region here, right? Are we
Yes.
together?
Yes.
But now I want you to notice something. Can you see that over here, this was a high on the weekly? Why? We tried to go up 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks we tried to go up and we halted right there. We stopped, right? Are we together?
Yes.
Now that we stopped, we then moved all the way down there significantly. So for that to happen, that would clearly mean that there was a lot of supply in that region. Are we together? For that
Yes.
movement to even occur. But not only was there a lot of supply in that region, there was an engulfing candle right here. Are we together?
Yes.
This candle engulfed the most recent one. So what happens when we see that? Besides excitement, what we want to do is we want to actually mark the key point of interest as the whole engulfing candle. Are we together? And we want to find an area within this engulfing candle that price broke out of, so that we can get a sniper entry when price comes back. So now let's scale down to the lower time frames, and we're going to see if there's an area that price broke out of. And I'm not a magician, but it seems as if over here, this acted as a support for so many days. Can you see that?
Yes.
And then when that support finally broke, only one thing could have caused that break. That is an overdose of supply in that market that resulted in the market tanking all the way to there. Now that we come back over here, we are entitled to assume a sniper entry exactly in that region where the supply simply outweighed the demand, place our entries, and if you want to be very careful, we're going to cater for a stop loss that comes out of the zone. Are we together? That's an engulfing candle entry technique. All right, I hope that's pretty clear. Okay, all right.
All right, so there you have it. Use engulfing candles in the right places for quality entries. Feel free to contact me for mentorship. You can find my contact details in the description of this video. I also urge you to visit my Instagram page for educational content. Until next time, ciao.